feel like it has vibration, that the surface doesn't stay still, it fluctuates, it does this. How does he do that? What? And if you slow down and stand in front of it for a while, it expands like a Cecil B. DeMille movie. You begin to see what he talked about seeing when he came into a room. He said, I get the impression when I first come in the room that I can see everything at once. And painting depends on seeing everything at once or getting everything to come together. But I have to make a painting piece by piece. I have to make a coffee cup and fool around with that and the edges and see where it is. And I finish that. And then I look at the rest of the painting. I said, God, what's happening in the rest of the painting? Now I have to do the tablecloth. And what about the background? And I want to put a spoon on the tablecloth. And I'm going to bring a dog in from the left, and a chair, and a woman knitting, and wall with pictures on them. Each time that the eye focuses on what you're doing, you see too much. And in order to get the whole thing to begin to make a field of organized surface, you have to edit and change and modify all of those elements. What am I talking about? That's why it's so slow, and that's why it takes so much time. And the most difficult, vexing, horrible thing is that you're always critical. I didn't get that coffee cup quite soft enough, or hard enough, or light enough, or colorful enough. But all of those units in a painting are there if it's a beautiful painting after a long, slow, and careful analysis of each of the pieces, subservient and integrated into a totality. It's hard to do. And that's why Picasso said, you know, they asked him, here's Picasso, this kind of giant of personality and talent and so on, a monstrous kind of ego, wonderfully and resplendent in what he become a practicing art historian and just take from every culture that he could find. And then they asked him about painting, being a painter. He said, he says, I've never seen a painting I didn't like. Is he kidding me? Is he serious? And he goes on to say, even a little painting of a little poodle on a pillow that some 89-year-old guy painted, I can't leave it alone. It's something human. And I think the reason that painting still lives, even though everybody's saying that painting is dead and so on, they're just too human.
So,
are we out of here?
one of the things we see in this exhibition are some of the themes that you've come back to again and again that mean so much to you. Still lifes, figures, steep streetscapes of San Francisco, rural landscapes and beach scenes. And they're all kind of concurrent, particularly in the way this show is installed. Everything is woven together over time, much like the way you work. When you start a painting, why is one subject one day and not another? When is it that propels you to look at a landscape? Do you go back and forth between these themes? Where do you begin? Do you begin with a drawing? Do you begin with an image in your mind, a memory?
All of those, I think, really, and lots of drawing, lots of use of memory, but also lots of specific accounting for finding out about an ellipse or about spatial volumes, color. But I think I'm inclined, to make lots of the wrong choices in the art world, so-called, because I'm interested in painting anything that I become attracted to or interested in. So I change a lot, and this is not a very good thing for the art world. The art world often depends on a kind of systematic product development in which you are easily recognized in terms of your theme or your subject matter or your direction. For me, since I'm really a teacher and a painter, it's a matter, I think, of being like a repertory company, where if you are working with, let's say, still lifes, you develop characters. In my case, it'd be pies, cakes, sundaes, candy pieces, but also ties, shoes. In other words, elements. These then can become like a repertory theater company, where you can use any of those or some of them or all of them on a stage, in a painting, and try to make them interact. So with me, all during the late 50s and early 60s, I was interested in cafeterias and bakeries, and I'd worked in washing dishes and selling hot dogs, so that it was a kind of natural thing to take those and see if you could make a painting out of it. And since I had been interested in the stage and worked on the stage crew in high school, it seemed like a logical thing to take those elements and use them in like a casting director. That continued on and on. It came and went. I would then start to paint some other theme, like, let's say, landscapes. So then the characters become a certain kind of tree, certain kind of architectural plowing field, a certain kind of shadow, certain kind of river, certain kind of pond with a reflection. And then, so that series, which might have lasted as long as 12 years, you could again make these repertory sort of stage pictures. Mm-hmm. San Francisco, the same thing, street arrows, street lines, buildings, so on. So what you see in the exhibition are these sort of dramatic incidents of bringing together, mostly by memory and reconstruction, a series of elements which try to make a kind of recognizable little visual drama.